Good evening friends. Today we will start with Standard 8 Chapter 1 Crop Production and Management. Now crop production and management. Okay. Now farmers, they work hard in their farms to grow crops. Now crop means what? Crop means when plants of same kind. Say for example all plants are of wheat. Yeah, all plants are of rice or all plants are of mango. That is called a crop on a large scale at one place. When plants of same kind are grown at one place on a large scale, it is called crop. Now, in previous classes we have learned that all living organisms required food. Plants can make their food on themselves. But animals and human beings, they can't make their own food. Now, from where does the plants and animals get their food? Animals and human beings get their food from plants. They are dependent on plants. But first of all, why do we have to eat food? We eat food to get energy. Because our body does various functions like digestion, respiration, excretion. So all our energy is utilized by the doing all this function. So we get food from plants and animals both. Okay. Now in order to provide food for a large population, regular production, proper management and distribution is necessary. Agriculture practice. Now in olden days, that is before 10,000 till 10,000 BCE, people were nomadic. Nomadic means not living at a place. They wandered from one place to another place in search of food and shelter. They just ate whatever they got. Okay. So as we discussed earlier, when plants of same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called crop. For example, crop of wheat means that all plants grown in a field are that of wheat. Now there are different types of crops like cereals, vegetables and fruits. And these can be also classified on the basis of season. Some plants are grown in winter, some plants are sown in summer. For example, see, watermelon, muskmelon, mango, you can eat only in summer. Okay, so carrot, it is eaten only in winter. So different crops have different season. Now India is a very big country. There is a very diversity and rich diversity, and climatic condition is different from one place to another. If you compare the climatic place of Gujarat and you compare the climatic place of Kashmir, it is totally different. So there is diversity in the season. So there is diversity in crops also. So crops are classified on season pattern. So there are two types of crops. The first one is Kharif crop, that is the crops which are grown only in rainy season are called Kharif crop. Now in India, the rainy season is from June to September. So crops which are grown in rainy season, they are called as Kharif crop. For example, paddy, maize, soyabean, groundnut and cotton. And Rabi crops means the crops that are grown in winter season. For example, October to March, they are called as Rabi crops. So, Kharif crop means the crops which are sown in rainy season are called Kharif crop. Example, paddy and maize. And Rabi crop means the crops which are grown in the winter season are called Rabi crop. Example, wheat, gram and pea. Now, other than Rabi and Kharif crop, some pulses and some vegetables, they are grown during summer at many places. Now What is the basic practices for crop production? Now suppose if I want to grow a crop, okay, if I am a farmer, I have to take several steps. Okay, the first thing from the last thing, that is say from selection of soil, then preparation of soil, then I have to sow the seeds, then I have to take care, I have to add, many processes are there. Even if we grow a small plant at our house, say for example a money plant or a plant of tulsi, then also we take lots of care. So a farmer has to take lots of care. So all this care taken by the farmer is called as agricultural practice. Agricultural practice. It includes preparation of soil, means we have to prepare the soil, sowing of seeds, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting and storage. Now first of all we will discuss about preparation of soil. Now before we start preparation of soil, let's take on over a definition. Agricultural practices. Cultivation of crop involves several activities undertaken by a farmer over a period of time, are known as agricultural practices, like preparation of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting and storage. All these activities are known as agricultural practices. Now preparation of soil. Now preparation of the soil is the first thing which we have to do before we grow a crop. Now when the farmer starts the farming, at that time it may happen that the soil is hard. So the first step he has to take is to lose the soil, because if the soil is not loosened, if it is hard, then the roots will not go deep into the soil. Okay, and if the roots will not go deep into the soil, the crop may not grow healthy. So the first thing the farmer has to do is to loosen the soil. Now second benefit by losing the soil is, the loosened soil helps the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. Now in lower classes you have learnt that earthworms is farmer's phrase, because it moves in a zigzag pattern. So this helps the soil to make it loose, and the loose soil becomes more porous. Okay, and if the soil is loose, it will add humus to the soil naturally. Okay. Now when the soil becomes loose, okay, air and water will be easily available to the plant. In addition to that, dead plants and animals, parts of the dead plants, okay, say for example leaves or twigs or anything, they will decompose by the soil organisms. So in this way, various nutrients in dead organisms are released back into the soil. These nutrients are again absorbed by the plants. Now see, when the soil is loosened, what happens? The upper layer of the soil, only the few centimeters layer soil, it supports the plants. It is rich in nutrients. Therefore, if the soil is loosened and if the soil is turned, it will help in cultivation of plant. It will help in cultivation of plant. This process of loosening of soil is called tilling. So the process of loosening and turning of soil is called tilling. This is done using a plow. You might have seen a farmer having a plow. Plow can be made up of wood or made up of iron. So tilling or plowing, the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called plowing or tilling. So the plow can be made up of wood or iron. Now the plowed field. Plowed field means when you have tilled the whole field, it is called plowed field. May have big clumps of soil that is called as crumbs. It is necessary to break these crumbs. So leveling the field is beneficial for sowing as well as for irrigation. Leveling of soil is done with the help of a leveler. Now irrigation means, yes, to give water to the field. It is called irrigation. So if your soil is loose and if your soil is leveled, okay, you may find it easy to water your field. Sometimes manure is added to the soil before tilling. Now in some cases this may happen. Some farmers, they believe in soil testing. Actually it should be done. By testing the soil, we will know that our soil is rich in which nutrients and lack of which nutrients. Say for example, if your soil requires more phosphorus, it is less in phosphorus, so you can add such type of manure. Agriculture implements. Before sowing the seeds, it is necessary to break the soil clumps to get a better yield. Clumps. Okay. This is done with the help of various tools. The main tools used for this purpose are plow, hoe and cultivator. So we will discuss one by one. Plow. This is being used since ancient time for tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the crop, removing the weeds and turning the soil. Now what is plow? It is made up of wood and is drawn by a pair of bulls or other animals, say for example horses or camel. Now it contains a strong triangular iron tip called plowshare. So plow is made up of wood or iron used to loose the soil, to remove the weeds or to manure to the soil. Now plow contains a strong triangular iron strip called plowshare. And the main part of the plow is a long log of wood which is called plow shaft. See, a picture is given over here. Now this is what we call plow. This triangular part is called plowshare, which is in the soil, and this is called plow shaft, means this portion. This portion is called plow shaft and this portion is called plowshare. So plowshare, a strong triangular iron strip like portion of plow, is called as plowshare, and plow shaft means a long log of wood which is the main part of plow. There is a handle at one end of the shaft. The other end is attached to the beam which is placed on the bull's neck. One pair of bull can easily operate the plow as shown in the figure. Okay. The indigenous wooden plow is increasingly being replaced by iron plow nowadays, because nowadays we are using tractors. So iron plow can be easily attached to the tractor. So the next tool is hoe, H-O-E. It is a simple tool which is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. So this is a figure of a hoe. It consists of a long blade, long iron rod and a bent plate. It attached to this. Okay, and this is a grip to hold it, and it works like a blade. So a hoe is a simple tool to remove weeds. It contains a long rod of wood or iron. A strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to one of its ends. Moving ahead to next topic is cultivator. Cultivator. Nowadays plowing is done by tractor driven cultivator. You can see in this figure, it's an iron device which is attached to the tractor. Okay, it does the work, all the work which can be done by the wooden plow. Okay, next most important topic is sowing. Sowing is an important part of crop production. Before sowing, good quality, clean and healthy seeds of good variety are selected. Farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield. High yield means the production should be more. Now, how to select the seeds? Okay, now one activity is given over here that you must have seen your parents, mother or grandmother, when they cook some grains like moong. Okay, so what they do, they put some seeds of that in a vessel and then pour water in them. After some time, you can see that some seeds are floating on the top. Okay, now what happens? Why does they float? Okay, so the seeds which are floating, okay, they are lighter because they are damaged, they have become hollow, and so they are light and therefore they float on water. So this method is also used by the farmers. So farmers, they sow the seed. Before sowing the seed, they put them in water. Okay, then they leave it for some time. After some times, whichever seeds that are floating, they separate it out and rest of the seeds they put in the soil. Now, for sowing the seeds, traditional tool, the tool for sowing the seeds, okay, you can see here, it's a funnel type shape. Okay, one man is putting the seeds inside it. That funnel type is attached to the wooden plank. So this is a traditional tool. Okay, but nowadays the new tools have become there, that is seed drill. Seed drills is like this. Okay, from this top you can put the seeds over there. From here the seeds are put and they pass it on over, and from one by one the seeds will go there. Okay, the seed will sow at a proper distance, at a proper depth. Okay, and with the help of seed drills, we can also ensure that seed gets covered by the soil after sowing. This protects seeds from being eaten by the birds. Sowing by using a seed drill saves times and labors both. Next topic is adding manure and fertilizer. The substances which are added in the soil in the form of nutrients for healthy growth of plants are called manure, or they are called as fertilizers. Okay, like you drink milk, you add some protein drink in that, like some Horlicks or some Bonvita or maybe some other brand. So why? To give you extra energy. Similarly, the soil gets an extra energy by the use of manures and fertilizers. Now soil supplies minerals, nutrients to the crop plants. These nutrients are essential for the growth of plant. In certain areas, farmers grow crop after the same crop after in the same field. This field is never left uncultivated or fallow. Imagine what happens to the nutrients. Now see, say for example, if once you have planted wheat crop, okay, and say for example wheat requires iron. So what will happen? All the iron portion of the soil will be used up when you have cropped wheat for once. If you crop same, that is wheat, for second time, what will happen? Again all the remaining iron will be used up by the plant. Next time, the third time, if you again grow the wheat, okay, the crop may be damaged. The crop may be damaged. So continuous cultivation of crops make the soil poor. Therefore, farmers have to add manure to the fields to replenish. Replenish means to regain the soil with nutrient. This process is called manuring. Manuring, the process of adding manure to the field to replenish the soil with nutrients, is called manuring. Now, manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plants or animal waste. So, when any plant or animal waste it is mixed with the soil, and if it is decomposed, we form an organic substance that is called manure. So what do farmers do? They dig a big pit, okay, and there in that pit they dump all the plants and animal waste, okay, and allow it to decompose. The decomposition is caused by some organisms. The decomposed matter is used as organic manure. This we have already learned. That is called compost pit. You might have learnt in the lower classes. Next topic is fertilizers. Now what are fertilizers? Fertilizers are chemicals which are rich in a particular nutrients. Now see, previously we have learnt about manure. Manure are natural substance. They are prepared by the decomposition of plant and animal product. But fertilizer is an artificial. It's a man-made. It is produced in the factories like urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash, NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. With the help of fertilizers, farmers get better yield of crops, means the quantity of crop can be increased like wheat, paddy and maize. But if you will use it excessively, okay, it has made the soil less fertile. Fertilizers have also become a source of water pollutions. What happens when you add the fertilizers? Whichever fertilizers is not used. With the help of fertilizers, farmers can get better yield of crops, means better quantity of crops such as wheat, paddy and maize. But if it is used in excessive, it causes soil less fertile. Even fertilizers becomes the main source of water pollution. So in order to maintain the fertility of soil, we have substitute fertilizer with organic manure or leave uncultivated land, that is fallow land in between two crops. The use of manures improves textures as well as its water retention capacity. It replenishes soil nutrients. Another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients is through rotation. Now rotation means what? Say for example, first I have grown wheat crop, okay. So in 2-3 months or 4 or 5 months, whenever the crop is ready, I harvest the crops, okay, and then I grow some other crops. Say for example, any legumes, okay, any pulses, any cereals, that is we call it dal. So what will happen? Say for example, wheat requires iron. So for sometimes iron will be removed from my soil, used up by the soil. And second crop I have grown of legumes, okay, or pulses. Say for example, it requires some another nutrients from the soil. So by that time what will happen? The iron will come back to the soil with natural process. So this is called as crop rotations. Farmers are encouraged to do this practice. In previous class we have learnt about rhizobium bacteria. These are present in the nodules, roots of leguminous plants. So therefore it is advisable for farmers that whenever you grow one main crop, second you should grow one pulses, because pulses contains rhizobium. Fertilizers and manures. Fertilizers is man-made. It is an inorganic salt, whereas manures are natural substances obtained by decomposition of cattle dung and plant. Fertilizers are prepared in factories, whereas manure can be prepared in the field. Fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil, whereas manure provides lots of humus to the soil, and if humus is increased, soil fertility will always increase. Fertilizers are very rich in plants' nutrition like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, whereas manure is relatively less rich in plant and nutrients. So overall it is advisable to use the manure. Now advantages of manure. The organic manure is considered better than fertilizers because it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. Means if you will use manure, you will have to provide less water to the plants. It makes the soil porous. When anything is porous, air or water can pass through that. So if soil becomes porous, exchange of gases becomes easy. It increases the number of friendly microbes. It improves the texture of the soil. Irrigation. Irrigation means to provide water to the crops at regular intervals. It's called irrigation. Now all living beings need water to live. Water is important for proper growth and development. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. Along with water, minerals, fertilizers are also absorbed. Plants contain nearly 90% of water. Water is essential for germination of seed because germination does not take place under dry condition. A seed will germinate only when it will have moisture. Nutrients dissolved in water are transported to each part of the plant. Water also helps to protect the crop from both frost and hot air currents. If it is too cold, then also water will protect. If it is too hot, then also water will protect. So the supply of water to the crops at regular interval is called irrigation. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, or from soil, or from season to season. In summer, the frequency of water is high. Why is it so? Because rate of evaporation is more. If rate of evaporation is more, so likely we will have more water. Could it be due to increased rate of evaporation of water from soil and the leaves? Yes, obviously. Sources of irrigation. The sources of water for irrigations are wells, tube wells, ponds, lake, river, dams and canals. Traditional method of irrigation of water. The water available in wells, lakes and canals is lifted by different methods in different regions for irrigation to the field. Cattle or human labor is used in this method. So these methods are cheaper but less efficient. Various methods are moat, that is pulley system. So you can see the picture. The farmer pulls a bucket of water from the well and then it draws the water in the field. And the second one is chain pump. The water is pumped out and then with the help of this device it is supplied to the soil. Next method is dedki and the fourth method is rahat. Now these all were traditional, okay, which have less expensive. They are cheaper but they are less efficient. Nowadays pumps are commonly used for lifting water. Diesel, biogas, electricity and solar energy is used to run these pumps. Modern methods of irrigation. Modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. The main methods are used as follows. The first one is sprinkler system. This system is more useful when uneven land where sufficient amount of water is not available. So you can see the figure. Pipes are arranged all over the field. Okay, these pipes are arranged all over the field. And fountain type sprinklers are installed at various intervals. And this all pipe connection, it is attached to a main pipe. This pipe is attached to the motor. When you start the motor, the water will flow here, then it will go in the pipes, and this water you can see it is coming out. This method is called sprinkler system. If you take a simple example, that if your crop requires 1 bucket of water with traditional methods of irrigation, if you will start sprinkler system, it will require half the bucket. So 50% water is saved. Next system is drip system. In this system, water falls drop by drop directly on the roots. So it is called drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees. It is shown in figure 15.b. See, here it is like fountain, but here the equal distance pipes are fitted. At equal intervals, holes are made in the pipe. Just exit of that hole, a crop is planted. So when you on this machine, water will directly move here, then it will come and move over here. So this portion will remain dry. Only the portion nearby the plant, it will remain moist. So this is the most effective method. Water is not wasted at all.